Greetings, fellow ALARP 1 students. My topic for this semester's capstone presentation will be unjustly vilifying law enforcement based upon the actions of a few. The effects of anti-law enforcement rhetoric on both law enforcement and the community at large. Introduction. Statistics. According to the FBI LEOKA program, 23% more law enforcement officers have been murdered in the same period of 2020 as 2019. This is in large part due to anti-police rhetoric, which then spurs on anti-police violence, as well as the general disrespect for police and law enforcement. Story of Officer Joseph Mensa. Officer Joseph Mensa was physically assaulted and his home was vandalized on September 8, 2020. The protesters also fired a single shotgun round into Officer Mensa's home. All the while, they chanted Black Lives Matter. The irony is that apparently Officer Joseph Mensa and his family's lives did not matter because they were police officers and or they were family of a police officer. Story of Captain David Dorn. Captain David Dorn was murdered by a looter on June 2nd over television. He responded to a call that his friend's pawn shop was being looted and robbed. During that call, he was brutally murdered by a looter. Captain Dorn was a vibrant member of the community who contributed a great deal. He will be very missed. Law enforcement. What is it and what do they do for the community? Law enforcement is the act of enforcing the law, usually done by someone who wears a badge and carries a firearm. Law enforcement members not only enforce the law, they also help the community by purchasing food for needy people, delivering babies on the side of the road, running into the towers on 9/11, and running into burning buildings. Why does this matter? It matters because all human life is sacred and we are made in the image of God. It matters because law enforcement protects us. It matters because if there was no law enforcement, no one would be there to protect law-abiding citizens. And finally, it matters because anti-law enforcement rhetoric makes communities more dangerous. Judge interaction. What does law enforcement mean to you? I would like you to think on this question and write down a few responses. According to Spectrum News, NYPD retirements are up 25% over the same period of time last year. Police say in large part due to anti-police rhetoric. Thesis and presentation map. Thesis. Anti-law enforcement rhetoric is hurting not only law enforcement, but the community at large. Presentation map. My presentation will have three components. The first component will be anti-law enforcement rhetoric. The second component will be effects on law enforcement. The third and final component will be effects on the community. Effects of anti-law enforcement rhetoric on the community. More crime, less law enforcement. Communities lack trust in law enforcement. An example of this is only 40% of African Americans trust law enforcement, according to the Cato Institute. According to Gallup polling, 68% of Chicago's fragile community would like more police. According to Fox Business, damage from George Floyd riots would cost at least $1 billion to repair, not to mention the time that business owners have invested to build their businesses, which is now destroyed. Property damage as a result of anti-law enforcement rhetoric. Jim Siegel, the owner of Axeman Surplus, was forced to hide in a bathroom while his business was ransacked. KB Bala, a firefighter and sports bar owner, received a call that rioters had burned his dream to the ground before he had even served one customer or had one Super Bowl party. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and have a great day.